Keep seeing this trend in America, guys, where we are starting to celebrate and reward weak men, weak people, people without conviction, people without principles. You know, and this all coincides with no longer learning the Word of God, denouncing the Word of God. Because we celebrate money. It's all about making money, how much money we can make. And to hell with our neighbors in the process. We're all about political agendas. And to hell with the moral values. To hell with rights. We are being led by weak men. I, for one, am tired of seeing it. I, for one, am not following them. I will not be told to get a vaccine. I will not be made to get a vaccine. I will not be forced as an American to do something that I don't want to do. I will take that stand. It is important to take that stand, and so many people will claim that they will take that stand. But when it comes time to take that stand, will they really? It is very easy to talk about taking a stand. It is another thing to truly take that stand, to support people who take a stand. When you do stand up, you're targeted. You're on the radar. When you speak the truth, you are targeted. And they will try to suppress you. They will try to hurt you and your family. They will try to take from you. They will try to assert their power over you. Because they are weak men. Because instead of leading by example and gaining the respect of those who follow, they think they can force you into doing it. Some people you can't force into doing it. And you know it. But it's time for those people to start standing up and being the leaders so that the rest of the weak sheep can pick a new shepherd to follow. Not these weak shepherds, these wolves in sheep clothing. We have too many people in politics today who are weak men. They've done nothing. Nothing. To learn anything about themselves, all they've done is jump in and move pieces to where they're put on top without doing any of the heavy lifting and any of the hard work. There's a common theme of a lot of these politicians. We'll save it for another video. It's a common theme about them, though. They all kind of look the same, if you get my drift. In Seattle, a police officer spoke out. He spoke out against the governor's unconstitutional orders. That same governor in the state of Washington is now implementing a more restrictive quarantine for a virus that doesn't warrant it, unlawfully. He is now using the National Guard to enforce it. You guys can go watch his him address people and talk about it. He likes when people follow orders. He likes the National Guard because they follow orders, right? Weak men will follow orders without questioning it. And weak men who wield power will abuse the weak men who follow the orders. So we have this system of weakness, and the only way to break it is for strong men to stand up against it, to unite collectively, and to resist it and to crush it. This police officer spoke out. He knew what he was risking doing it, because his system of control, his line of control to them was his job. He has to obey the masters, or they take food away from his family. They take money away from him. They make him homeless. That's how they negatively affect him, right? But he spoke out against it, knowing that he was knowing what he was jeopardizing. And you can go and watch his videos. I will link one in the description below. I'll try to find it for you guys. He came back and gave the timeline of what took place, and essentially as his message continued to grow, his higher-ups tried to suppress the message, right? As soon as we start speaking truth and it starts catching on, the tyrants will try to squash that message, because we don't want the natives to be restless, right? We want to keep all the slaves nice and calm, even keel, right? We don't want anyone getting riled up and tipping the boat. They told him to take it down, and he refused to take it down. They threatened him to take it down, and he refused to take it down. Now they're taking his job, his livelihood, his money. They're taking it away from him. And yet he still did not bend the knee. He took the stand. Guys, being a police officer is just a job, okay? For one, he can be a police officer anywhere if that's what he chooses to do. For two, it's not an end-all be-all job. It's not even that great of a job, okay? Is it really a big loss? No, it's a minor inconvenience. It is a minor inconvenience at that time because you are worried about how you will take care of your family. You are scared of the unknown. How will I make a big shift into something else that I don't know and I haven't been doing? They're using that fear and intimidation to control you. When you release yourself from those binds, they can't control you. Don't be scared to stand up. You get fired, go get another job. Doesn't really matter in today anyway, because everyone has basically gotten fired by their governor, right? You're better off to take a stand, get fired, and go collect your mailbox money. But I commend this guy, and you're gonna see a trend with this man. He has made sacrifice in his life. He has kept a code. He has a sense of duty and honor, and he's stuck true to his convictions. And because of that, he is going to be rewarded beyond a job as a police officer. He can hold his head high. He can be proud of himself knowing that he is a shining example to his kids of what to be. To not be a tyrant, to be a free American. Can you say that? Can you look at yourself and look at your kids and know that you're doing right by them because you are leading by example? What example are you teaching them? The battle of patriots and tyrants is coming. I think Michigan is going to be a boiling point, and I think Washington is going to be a boiling point. You are going to see an absolute grab of control out of the state of Washington. And the problem is much bigger than just stay-at-home orders, guys. We are starting to see policies be put into place, laws, where they can determine if they can take your kids from you because you are infected with COVID-19, this very dangerous virus that has killed very few people. They're the masters of your children, not you. Those aren't a blessing from God. Those are a gift from the government. The government owns your children because you live within their imaginary border. Does the government own your children? Do they get to have the right to come in and take your kids away from you because of this dramatized virus? Are you going to allow your kids to be taken away and put into a facility or into the hands of somebody else to raise your kids for their health and their safety? A very large majority of kids who get put into these facilities are abused by the people of these facilities. The story is all too common that the people, these weak people who will put themselves in a position to watch over stolen kids, will abuse that power. This is another example of how we allow weak people to run our system. I, for one, would never, under any circumstances, ever let anybody take my children from me. My kids are mine. They are a gift from God to my wife and I. The government has no control over it. I don't care what laws they have put into place at any time. Those kids are mine. If someone in my family is sick, our family will take care of it. We don't need government to try to isolate us and put us inside some camp with a bunch of other sick people. Guys, we've heard this before. We've seen this before. Okay, we might be jumping into buses to get shipped to these camps. It might not be train cars, but we've seen this before. The problem is we don't have enough strong men standing up and being leaders. We don't have the right men in place running this country in politics. We have the wrong people on a mass scale, and now we are where we are today. And the problem is that we celebrate weak people in this country, because to be a strong man is a negative thing these days. To be manly is negative, right? Everybody should get a participation trophy. Everybody should be on the same level. Everybody should be made to feel special, right? You're not special unless you earn it. If you don't do anything extraordinary, you are average or below. I, for one, do not celebrate weakness. I don't teach my kids that they are great just for existing. I teach my kids to achieve greatness, to achieve something if you want the recognition for it. I teach my kids to be strong, to have conviction, and to stand up for what is right. And we're leading by example. I do not celebrate weakness, and I do not bend the knee to weak men.